This is an analog Spec 20 that we will be using to detect concentration by using light passed through solutions. The left-hand knob is the power and transmission dial. The right-hand knob is for absorbance. We'll be putting the samples into the little rectangle on the left. This is where the sample goes in. It'll be a cuvette that looks an awful lot like a test tube with a white line on it. The white line will get lined up with the mark that you see on the holder. Here's a cuvette lined up properly in the cuvette holder. The reason for aligning it the same way each time is to allow the light to pass through the same part of the test tube each time a sample is put in. This dial allows us to select the wavelength of light we'll be shining through the sample. The wavelength is set right now at 440 nanometers, which is the wavelength of light we'll use to shine through our samples for this lab. The black tubes are the transmission testing zeros. They block out all light transmission. The clear test tube will have distilled water in it, and that will be used to zero absorbance. Here's zero transmission. The needle is right on the zero. All you can see is one red needle, and you want to have this kind of view when you're reading in a transmission or an absorbance reading. This is what happens if you're not lined up correctly. This is parallax. You can see the reflection of the red needle behind the actual needle itself. Not what you want to do. So move so that you only see the red needle and get one reading accurately. Here the needle is showing zero absorbance, and we'll be reading the absorbance scale, which is the bottom scale. Transmission scale is on the top. This is similar to the color of the sample that we'll be using. It is an iron compound, so it'll be somewhat orange, which is why we're using the wavelength that we are. Put the sample cuvette in the sample holder, and we'll read the absorbance. For this particular sample, the absorbance is about 0.235, 0.237. With the analog, you'll need to approximate the last decimal place.